God bless you, WME family, and welcome back. And thank you for being a part of this broadcast. I want to speak to you today about Abraham. Abraham is one of the patriarchs of the Old Testament. He's known as the father of faith because he ventured out on what God told him. Now, his story begins in Genesis chapter 12. In Genesis chapter 11, we kind of see a little bit about his background, where he comes from. He comes from the land of the Chaldeans. And it was a place that was given to idolatry. It was given to the worship of the sun god. And so God calls Abraham out of this land. He tells him to go to a land, and he tells him that he's going to bless him in that land. And what does Abraham do? He moves upon the word that God gave him. And the Bible tells us this in Genesis chapter 12. It says, "Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get out of thy country and go into thy kindred, and leave from thy kindred and leave from thy father's house upon a land that I will show thee." And can you imagine, and the Bible tells us that at this time, Abraham was 75 years old. And the land of the Chaldeans is the only land that he knew. This was the only life that he knew. He lived there for 75 years, and all of a sudden, now he's going to be uprooted and he's going to move to a different land that he doesn't know. But he has a word that God gave him. And he trusts God. And see, that's what faith basically is. Faith is basically trusting God. And so Abraham, not only did he trust God, but he was obedient. When the Lord told him to leave the land and to go to the land that he was going to show him, Abraham moved on it. He seized the opportunity and he moved. And God tells Abraham here in Genesis chapter 12, verse 2, it says, "And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless thee, and I will make thy name great. And thou shalt be a blessing, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed." So God gave Abraham several promises here. He gave him several things to hold on to. He told Abraham that he was going to make him a great nation. Now, at this time, again, Abraham was 75 years old. In the natural, it seemed like he was ready for retirement. It was over. There was nothing left for Abraham to do. But Abraham had a promise from God, and Abraham trusted God. And when God gave him that promise, he moved upon it. And so the Bible tells us that God told him, "I will make you a great nation." Now, this was at this time, Abraham didn't have any children. And here God is saying, not only am I going to give you children, but I'm going to give you a nation. Your descendants are going to be blessed. And so he says, I will bless thee. I will bless thee. You're going to have my support. You're going to have my approval. You're going to have my blessing upon your life. If you move on what I tell you, if you go by my directions, you're going to be blessed. And so this is a promise to prosper him. This is a promise to give him increase. And so Abraham moves on that promise. And it says here, "Not only will I bless thee, but I will make thy name great." And I love what Solomon says hundreds of years later. He says that a great name is better than riches. And so God says, not only will you see increase in your life by obeying me, not only will you see the financial and the spiritual and physical blessing, but you'll also have a great name. And when God says, "I'm going to give you a great name," he's referring to your legacy. You'll be remembered. You'll be given a legacy. And so Abraham here is promised a great name. "And thou shalt be a blessing." And this is also very important for us to understand that God doesn't just want to bless us. God doesn't just want to prosper us. When something good happens in your life, when you receive something special, maybe it's a promotion at work, maybe it's you were able to purchase a brand new vehicle. I don't know what that blessing is, but when God blesses you, it's to be a blessing to others. It's to be an outreach to others. It's to help those who are less fortunate, to those who are down and out. And so God tells Abraham, not only am I going to bless you, and you're going to be under a blessing, but that blessing is also for you to bless others. It's for you to help others. It's for you to be an encouragement for others. Maybe God helped you during a particular situation. Maybe you overcame a certain obstacle. It's so that you can be a blessing to others. It's so that you could be an outreach to others. That's what we do here at World Missionary Evangelism. That's why we're out in these third world countries, in these countries that are ravished by poverty, by war, by natural disaster. Many times we've been to the countries where they've just been, where we've seen children rummaging through the garbage. And so we know that God has sent us there to be a blessing to these children, to be a blessing to these natives in whatever country we're in. We know that God has sent us there to reach out to them so that they'll know about the gospel, so that they'll know that there's a God that loves them, that cares about them, that has a plan and a purpose for their life. That's why we sponsor children. That's one of the things that's at the heart of our ministry, is sponsoring children. Because we know that if we can impact these children at an early age, we know that if we can impact these kids, if we can be a blessing to them and show them God's love and help them with school supplies, help them with day-to-day things that they need, a warm meal, if we can help them be a blessing in their life, we know that as they grow, they're going to be a blessing to others. And we've seen that pattern. We've seen that follow. Well, our time is over, but we're going to come back. We're going to come back with a second part to this study, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
World Missionary Evangelism has been taking care of children. It started with just a few little orphans in India, has grown to touch thousands over the last 5 decades. But what does child sponsorship mean? Well, child sponsorship means that someone just like you is providing food, clothing, medical care, an education, and in many cases, a home in which to live. Imagine for a second growing up on the streets. Imagine for a second being all alone at the age of 4 or 5. Imagine what it's like just to survive. Those we don't help often die. Some are sold into slavery, a problem that still exists in the world today. Yet through child sponsorship, there's a bridge built, a bridge from nightmares to dreams, an opportunity for that child who had no future now to be blessed with a future that lifts others up as you lifted him up. Child sponsorship is a very important part of World Missionary Evangelism's work. It's such an important part that it's really the heart of our mission, reaching out, saving lives. There are so many children right now who need to be sponsored. And if you were to step forward and take one of them under your care, you would have the knowledge in your heart and in your soul that this child felt Christ's love through your donations and gifts. Why don't you pray about and think about sponsoring a child today?